Hi everyone, this is Maria Clark of Sweet Willow Designs and welcome to my studio. Today I'm participating in an awesome collaboration with 25 other YouTube artists as we make a series of 26 guy-themed card tutorials. In this video hop that started on May 23rd and will run through June 5th, you'll find a wide variety of cards and tutorials on how to make these very special guy-themed cards. Check out the description below for all the 26 channels in the hop so that you can rotate through each person's videos. As you go through the hop, we're going to play a game with the alphabet, and we're going to collect the name of 26 tools. 26 because there's 26 of us. So here's my clue. In my toolbox, there's a wrench. So my letter is W for wrench. Watch each one of the videos to collect all 26 tools in the toolbox, and stay tuned for the very last video by Gareth, who will give you all the details to enter a giveaway for 3 fabulous prize packages. So don't forget, my tool is wrench. I have 2 cards for you that use basically the same theme, but one of them I'll show you how to use some very personal photographs that you may have to make a really special Father's Day card, and in the second one we'll use images instead of the photos. I hope you enjoy these cards. Let's get started. This first card is a really personal card, and you can see that there are 4 photographs that represent my husband and our 3 children. And as the kids were growing up, my husband taught each one of them to play the guitar. So I thought it would be a really special treat for him to get a card and a kind of a special memento that shows a picture of each one of them playing the guitar and just their picture of their hands. So I took these pictures myself, and I've just cropped them in such a way that I can use them in this particular card. On the inside of the card, I have an old guitar string from one of my husband's, as he changed out his strings, and I'm using that in the card as another little special touch. The tools and materials we'll use are basic. I've got some card bases. These are 5x7s. I've got my photographs. I've got some sentiments for the inside, some tapes, scissors, cardstock, and my trimmer. So this 5x7 card, I really wanted to have a little pop of color, so I'm using a red cardstock, and I will just cut that down and get it so that there's just a little teeny sliver of white, about 1/8 of an inch around the card of the white showing. So I've got to lay down this card base, and then I'll start to place my photographs. So I'll get all that cut up, and I will double tape it using just double stick tape to get that applied to the card base. So I'm just using some double stick tape here. This is the first card I've ever really made, and so I'm a little bit nervous about it, so kind of bear with me as I learn to do this. So just applying the double stick tape and just getting kind of enough of it down so that it lays really flat and smoothly against the card base. Those of you that make cards, you're really familiar with this technique, so it's nothing out of the ordinary. I just trim off any extra tape, and then I'll get that laid down, and you can see there's maybe about 1/8, maybe a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch around the edge of that card, and I've got my card base prepared. So I took these photographs, and I have one of each of my children, and I did this in my photo editing. So I've actually sized these in the photo editing and put a little frame around them. If you can't do that, or if you don't have a photo editor and you just have the photos, I've made myself a little template, and this template is a 1.5 by 4 inch template, and you can see I've just cut it out, and I can just frame the picture and go around the picture with my X-Acto knife and cut out that picture. Oops, I had my card base under there, you guys. That's a really rookie mistake, but I noticed that I didn't cut through it, so it's all right. So I'll go ahead and keep cutting around the little template that I've made and get that cut out. It's real simple to use your X-Acto knife, and you can see that that's just going to pop out. And then I can apply it to a white base, just like I did on my photo editing. And here I am just looking at the next photo and kind of placing it. So I'm going to use the one that I created in my photo editing software, and I put the little guides for myself so I'd have a guide to use, and I'm just trimming off the excess. And I'll get each one of these cut, and I really like being able to use the guides that I placed in the photo editing because they're exact, and I can just line up my paper trimmer and get rid of any of that excess paper. You know, it would be really nice if you played, your husband taught the kids, you know, a sport or another musical instrument or something like that. Would be really fun to look back in your photographs and see what you could find. So now I'm just going to place these 4 photos on the card base, and I'll just kind of move them around until I get them lined up and I'll mark them lightly with a pencil so I'll know where to place them when I come back. And just kind of get them all lined up there so that they're evenly spaced. And once I have the layout set up, it's really just a matter of putting the double stick tape on the back, and getting each one of those adhered to the card base. So I'm just using my little light pencil marks as a guide to get the image pasted down, and I'll just line them up as best I can. I actually think the kids are going to like this card as much as my husband will. So there's the next one. Didn't quite get that one down, so I'll just try to position it a little bit better. That tape was forgiving. I'm a little bit surprised, but it let me take it off without too much trouble and get it put back down. And there I'm going to place the last piece on. There, that looks really good. How special. And now for the inside, I have an old guitar string. Oh, actually I got my sentiment first. So I just said, you know, when I play I hear my dad, thanks for the music. It's just a sentiment I made up. And I will just cut this, trim this down. And I'm a sort of eyeball trimmer. I know that some of you are very, very precise, but I kind of just eyeball it mostly. And, you know, so it might not be exactly perfect, but it's pretty good. And I'll back it with some of that red so that I can... I was just measuring to make sure I had enough. Well, I can see I have enough paper there. But I'm going to back it with the red so it has a little bit of color behind it, a little more double-stuck tape, and get that down on the red. And then again, I'm just going to eyeball it a little bit and line it up. These paper trimmers are really neat, so they allow you to line it up really nicely. And I'll just trim off any of the excess paper. And I've got my sentiment nicely backed. Now I'm going to take the guitar string, and I'm going to put that down first on the inside of my card, and I'm just sort of centering it. You see I kind of wound it up a little bit, but I've got some pieces, the ends sort of hanging off there. I like the way that one end curls, so I'm just going to place this over that, and I'm going to use some of that foam tape because I need a little bit of height so that I can have that guitar string underneath the sentiment. And so I'm using a little bit of foam tape and get that in the middle, and then I'll put a couple of pieces on each side to make a little bit of a channel. And it fits over there beautifully. Then I'll just kind of get my little ends up over the top, and there's how that card looks. It looks really good. I think he's going to really love this, you guys. So I know some of you might not have photographs like that you want to use, so I wanted to do another card using some images, and I'll put in the link below where I got these images. They were really inexpensive, about $3 for the sheet of guitars, so I was really pleased with that. So I've got my printouts. I've printed it on cardstock, white cardstock, and I've got a couple of sentiments here. and I have some old guitar picks. So I did the same thing to just back the card, put the backing on. So I've got the red, so it'll have that card will have a little bit of pop behind it. And then I'll use my paper trimmer to trim up the section of guitars that I want to use. And you can see you could use either set. So I'm going to use that bottom set, and I'm just trimming that. Trimming it up so I know it'll fit on the card. And you can see that I can get that placed nicely on the card with a nice border. Go ahead and use some of the double stick tape. And I'll just get that centered on the red cardstock. Yeah. And I had these old guitar picks, and I just really liked the colors. So I'm going to take them and place them on the card. And I've got them pointing different ways. I'll put a little bit of double stick tape and cut off any excess because of the shape, and just get those placed in between those guitars. And that's going to give it a little bit of extra color. If you don't have guitar picks, you certainly could just download some images of guitar picks. I was able to find some. And then I've got the sentiment, which is turn it up to 11, Dad. And for those of you who are, old like me, you'll remember Spinal Tap, and this was one of the jokes in Spinal Tap, where the knobs on the amps usually go up to 10, but they had one that went up to 11. So the joke is, we're gonna turn it up to 11 and really amp it up. So I'm cutting out the sentiment, and then I have my internal sentiment that I'll use, and it's just Happy Father's Day, thanks for the music. I just love the fact that we can, we have a family tradition around music, and it's nice to have a themed card, and it's nice to have a masculine card that is nice for the dad in the family. So I'll back those with red so I can get that pop of color. And I put my double stick tape, trimmed off any excess, and I'll get it on that red. And then I'll just trim up the red. Okay, so now I'm ready to just do my little trimming. And again, I'm just eyeballing it, you guys. I'm not that precise, and I struggled with this a little bit. I couldn't quite, it was too small. So you'll see that I end up using a pair of scissors to actually trim those last two pieces. And that worked out really well. So there's my one sentiment, and then I'll just trim up the inside sentiment. Okay, now we're ready to put it all together. So this first one, turn it up to 11, Dad, I'm going to place on the front of the card, and I'm just positioning it now. And then I'll use the double-sided tape again to get that on there. It's looking really good. And then the inside. I hope you're going to enjoy all of the collaborations that you see. So there's the inside of my card, and I think that looks really good for a Father's Day card, for a guy-themed card. I want to thank you for joining me in my studio for these two really special cards. And please be sure you check out the description below for all 26 artists that have video tutorials out for card making. I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for joining me in my studio. Take care.